For the Zips Digital Network, Chad Welker here with softball head coach Julie Jones. And Coach, you went 3-2 last weekend. Victories over Drexel, Holy Cross, and George Mason. Just briefly share with me how the weekend went.
Well, overall, we started off strong. Had a good game against Drexel. Adrian pitched a good game. Our offense was strong in that. The next game didn't go as well. We didn't pitch very well, and couldn't muster the offense to win that one. And then the next day we came out strong again. And then against Holy Cross, had a really nice game. Amaya and Adrian combined for the shutout. Faced Quinnipiac, who was really a much better team than I expected, quite honestly. New coach, little excitement for them. I think it was their first weekend. But they hit us pretty hard, and we played not beautiful defense. It wasn't great. So we shot ourselves in the foot that way a little bit. But then we came out the next day, like last day on Sunday, with George Mason, got down 2-0 in the first, split that, and then we were down 3-1, and then all of a sudden we just poured it on. Adrian dove for a ball, hurt her shoulder. We brought Amaya in, and she closed it out. Had a great day, actually.
Offensively, Sydney Jasko and Lauren Lakins had a pretty decent weekend. Just briefly talk about the leadership that they bring, both on the field and then in the batter's box.
Well, Sydney is a hitter, and the back of her shirt for our to the top says offense, and that's what she's been giving us. She's doing a really good job at third base as well, and she's going to do a little bit of catching, I would imagine, this weekend too. But she has just been solid. She's seeing the ball well. She strokes the ball well, and just comes up big in situations where we need her. And Laura had a particularly great day on Sunday. She was great. She was great offensively, and she was even better defensively. We challenged her a little bit with some throws over at first, and she did a good job of hanging on. But I'm happy to see her. She didn't start at the very beginning, and then she came in and just has really taken off offensively, and that's what we need from her.
As we talked last week, we're going to talk about who would be those players that are on the rise for the week. Who did you see kind of stuck out to you, minus the two that I mentioned earlier, in this past weekend's tournament?
Well, Kayla Wolf has been just as successful at the plate, really, and come up big in a lot of ways, and her base running has been outstanding. She, took an extra base in a situation where they didn't expect her to. She stole a base on a ball in the dirt. Got to third on a situation where I think they thought she should have stopped at two. Was really pushing that, and we've been doing that offensively. I think we've scored 14 runs without an RBI, without anybody hitting them in, just on pure hustle. So we've been really happy with her in that situation. Then I've got my game changers. Sabria Bruton changed the game against George Mason by being safe at second on a routine play that she should have been out. And that gave us the opportunity to really build that offensive inning that we needed. So Maddie Carter, and Morgan Cadmus have been coming in and just run like crazy on the bases, and that's how we play, and that's what we need. So those guys they're as big in our wins as Sydney and Laura and Wolf in that way, because they're allowing us to get to the next out without to the next score without an out.
And then from the pitching standpoint, you have two young ladies both from St. Clairsville, Ohio. Yeah. They both were able to get complete game victories this weekend. Talk about their performance. Well,
Adrian has been our horse so far. And, when she's on, she's tough to hit. I mean, they're going to hit the long ball off her a little bit because she throws hard, mid-60s. But she's got a change up to mix in there, which makes it really nice. And then Amaya, her little sister, has come in and, and helped her. We took Adrian out in the one game to save her a little bit, and Amaya went in and, held the shutout clear. And then when Adrian got hurt, we went to her, and she had a great game against George Mason. Lots of ground balls, and we've got a really good defense. So if we can get ground balls, we've got a great chance of winning the game.
Now we get to talk about this weekend. Georgia is on your mind. You head to the Mercer tournament. You have Indiana, Mercer, Loyola, Chicago, and you got one other team in there on Sunday. Just briefly talk to me about the matchups you got going into the tournament in Mercer.
Well, it's going to be serious matchups. I mean, Indiana's, I think, 19th right now in the nation, and that's Coach Pratt's best friend from high school, the coach there. But they're 9-0. Loyola Chicago's 9-0. So we've got our work cut out for us this weekend, and Mercer's record doesn't reflect who they are. They're a running team just like we are. They make things happen. So, and then North Carolina A&T is our other team that we're in there. But it's going to be, we've got to step it up. We got to step our game up a little bit if we're going to make sure we give these teams what we need. But what we have to do is we have to keep our energy. We have to keep pressing the issue on the bases. And if our offense can continue to roll like it is, we always give our opportunity to. I don't care who comes to us. We've got a great chance to win.
Appreciate the time as always, Coach. And fans, you can always keep track on the softball team by following them on Twitter at ZipsSB on Twitter. That's ZipsSB. For Chad Welker and the Zips Digital Network, Coach Julie Jones, have a great weekend. And as always, go Zips.